Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of As Crow Flies Hiking. I thought today I'd do something a little different. I'm out on a day hike. I had some time today, so I thought I'd go out and hike around, maybe 6-7 miles. And while I was out here, I thought, why not discuss day hiking? I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there about day hiking, and this probably won't be any better than any of those. I don't know, maybe worse. But I just wanted to talk about the essentials of day hiking. There's a lot of people that watch this channel that are not hikers, and maybe they want to get into just hiking during the day or hiking on a trail during the day. So that's what this will be about. What do you take? What do you not take? What are some of the things you may need to leave behind? Thank you guys for watching. Let's talk day hiking. So as I'm doing this little day hike today, I'm thinking about the items that you would need for a good, successful day hike. The stuff that you have to have that would get you through the day. I would obviously say some sort of backpack, some sort of small liter backpack, maybe 20 liters or so. Depending on what terrain, obviously good shoes. Well, you'd have to have good shoes. And then you would want water. Water's essential. Some sort of snacks of some kind. But because I do a lot of overnight stuff, I would say that it's very important that you're prepared for an overnight if you had to. If you got lost, got injured, or something like that, I would think, and again, this is just a discussion, I'm no expert on this stuff, that you would want something for an overnight. So what I brought was safety blankets or emergency blankets, just in case. Then I brought, of course, in this trip, I'm doing a lunch. I'm hiking and gonna do a lunch, so I've got cooking stuff. So my backpack is a little large for that. I would think, depending on the year, this time of year, you'd want some insect repellent and sunscreen. I think you would want to bring a first aid kit. I brought a good number of things for a first aid kit that I thought would be good. Let's talk a little bit more about day hikes. So on this day hike, I just got the normal things: my backpack, an emergency blanket, a whistle, my first aid kit, and my toiletry kit. Absolutely bring that, because you never know when nature calls. So what do you take on a day hike? Do you just bring water and snacks? Do you bring the possibility of having to stay overnight with some sort of shelter system every time? Does it depend on how far you're going and how well you know the area? I don't think I've even mentioned a map. I've got my map with me here for this. That would be very hard in this little local state park for me to get lost. But I was just thinking, for those of you that watch my channel and are not hikers, but want to hike and want to get started with a day hike before you try an overnight hike, what would you think you need to take? Some sort of fire starting kit? I mean, that would be a possibility if you got lost. But nowadays, with so many people in this world, it's getting harder and harder to get lost in the woods unless you're really remote. I've been on a hike with my family that I was afraid that my wife and 2 youngest kids were going to have to spend the night because my wife took a wrong turn and had some chaos with a thunderstorm that came up, and before I could get to her, she took the wrong turn. Comment below, what would you take if you had to, if you felt like, you know, there is always the possibility you have to spend the night. I may create a list, and I may put some sort of little list here, but that list would just contain the essentials, because I mean, part of one idea of going on a day hike is that you're not having to take a whole bunch of stuff so that you can enjoy the hike without being weighed down. I know I always, because I'm bald, I always take some sort of head wrapping or a hat, mostly just to keep the sweat out of my eyes, but also to protect from the sun. If it was the winter, I would definitely have some sort of shelter system that I needed in case something went wrong. Okay, I'm coming up to my big turn here and then heading back toward the car, so.
So after I got home, I decided to pull out my pack and get all the items out and see what I have, and then kind of go through it and see what might be good or might not be good on a day pack. So the essential items that I have are, of course, the pack. I mean, you gotta have some kind of pack. This is an old Go Light pack that I got many years ago and I still use. It's really light, and I think it's a 40-liter pack, but it's probably too big for a day pack. But I was carrying lunch and stuff on this day hike, so I brought that. And then my food bag, and I have a bunch of stuff in there right now, but if you're gonna cook lunch, obviously you would need to have, you know, a stove and utensils and things for cooking. But this is optional depending on whether you're going to actually cook for lunch. Now, I did talk about a shelter system. So I have this little Light Outdoors tarp that I carry with me a lot, and some stakes. So I may take that if I'm going to go on a day hike on somewhere I don't know very well, and that I may have to stay the night or something. If there was a possibility of something going wrong, then I would probably carry those two items, maybe, because they're not that heavy. And then my water filtration system. I don't know if on a day hike if you would carry a Sawyer squeeze or some sort of filtration system, but you might, just in case you felt like it was a possibility that you could have to spend the night. Now, this is that little survival blanket that I have. This is the Soul 2-person survival blanket. I don't think it's a bad idea to carry one of these on any day hike. They're very light, And if you had a bad situation, got hurt, you may have it. And then as I talked about, you got to have good, comfortable socks and shoes. You know, I in most of my videos wear these Ultra Olympus and then the Darn Tough socks. I really like those. And I carry always a first aid kit that has just essential items in it. I have my rain jacket, which is a Mountain Hardwear rain jacket I really like. And then my toiletries, you know, a trowel, some hand sanitizer, wipes, and things like that. Now, I think it's a good idea, for me personally, to carry a ZIPLOC bag or some sort of a dry bag just to have in case something goes wrong, your cell phone or whatever needs to be in there. So I would put my cell phone in there or some other bag. Then I carry a hat or a buff, depending on what I'm doing, but just to protect my head from the sun. Now, I didn't really talk about clothing that much, especially in the cold. You'd want some layers that you need in the cold, and just to make sure that you wouldn't get hypothermia if you had a situation. And then of course water. You got to have the essential amount of water, whatever you're taking on a day hike. Not much, but you would probably want some, especially if you're cooking, to bring extra. And then sunscreen and bug spray if needed. And that's a big knife. I always carry a knife wherever I go. I didn't even mention that, but I would carry a knife, and then some hand sanitizer. And then I didn't even mention, but a flashlight, a headlight or a flashlight. I think that's essential even for a day hike, because you just never know what could go wrong out there. And if you had to make it out to the parking lot or wherever, the trailhead at night, you'd probably want some kind of flashlight. And so I usually carry one or both just in case one fails me. And then this may be something that you could leave behind. I usually carry a Z seat if I'm going to sit down somewhere and just look at nature. Or I have that A-Light chair, the Mayflower chair that I love so much. I might carry that just if I'm not doing many miles. A day hike, you can carry some things that you may otherwise not take. So essentially that's what I have. Your thoughts on day hike items? Carry, not carry, carry the shelter system, don't carry the shelter system just in case. I guess it just depends on how well you know the area and what you think. But a lot of these items, obviously, you could leave behind. Oh, and I failed to mention the map. Obviously, you want to take some kind of map, either on gut hooks on your phone, or if it's a state park and they have a nice color map like that, I carry it. That's my thoughts. I know that there are a lot of other videos on day hiking, and they're probably a lot better than mine. But it's just something I was thinking about, and since I was on a day hike, I thought I'd pull my stuff out and just kind of look at it. What other items did I miss? Let me know in the comments.
I guess this will end another episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. I hope you've enjoyed talking about, a little discussion about day hikes. I just thought I would bring it up and get you to talk about it, discuss it down below in the comments. Let me know what you would take. All right, well, I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.